What a wild time, what a weird timeline we are living in that this happened. What's up everybody, welcome back to Low Luxury. Today we have got to talk about the Balenciaga x The Simpsons collaboration that kind of blew up the internet over the weekend, at least in my feed. It was like all that was happening on the internet in like the fashion world. That was it. It blew it up. So where to even begin here? Well, let's talk about like the concept of collabs real quick, because Balenciaga has been doing a bunch of them lately, and I really haven't talked about them because they just don't really matter, and let me explain that. So I didn't cover the Balenciaga x Fortnite collaboration, same as I didn't cover the Louis Vuitton x League of Legends video game collaboration not too long ago, because in my opinion, those collabs are really more just like user acquisition than anything. In my mind, they don't really serve like an artistic purpose in any way. They're really just an effort to try and reach a customer base that the brand generally hasn't been reaching. Like, you know, young gamer boys, they're not usually paying that much attention to Balenciaga or Louis Vuitton or whatever. So I understand it. It's a marketing effort to try and get some kind of like brand name recognition to those audiences that may not have heard of you otherwise. But here's the big difference. Here's why I'm covering this collab with The Simpsons, because I think it is achieving a very, very different purpose here. This collaboration for the, I think it's the Spring-Summer 2022 collection, is one of the best examples of democratization of fashion that I have seen in a long, long time. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in my mind, this is probably the best high-low collaboration I've ever seen. Now, what's a high-low collaboration? So the high is Balenciaga. It's very high-end, right? And then the low is The Simpsons. It's like the most popular cartoon of all time. It's completely recognizable to just about everyone on earth. I'm sure Homer Simpson's face is one of the most recognizable objects in the modern world. It's just The Simpsons is that popular. And here's the thing. This collab really only worked because of the included episode, and we'll definitely talk more about that later, but real quick just up front, they did make an actual like mini episode of The Simpsons to go along with this new collection, and it is specifically because of that episode that this entire collab works. If it was just a merch line of Balenciaga x Simpsons merch, like, it wouldn't do anything for me. So why is this the democratization of luxury fashion? Well, Homer Simpson and the Simpson family as a whole, they really represent the everyman. Like, everyone can relate to that no matter how rich or poor you are, wherever you came from. The Simpsons are like the typical American family. Yes, typical white American family. I understand that it probably doesn't represent everyone perfectly, but for, you know, your typical white American kind of culture, this represents it beautifully. So by including these characters in this kind of incongruous space of luxury fashion, it achieves a level of wish fulfillment that's very, very rare in fashion. And another thing that I really like about this is I also think it's very representative of Demna Gvasalia, the creative director of Balenciaga, and where he came from, because he is from Georgia, the ex-Soviet country. He grew up in some very rough conditions, and I'm sure he too was, way back in the day as a kid, teen, whenever he got into fashion, he was looking at the Paris runways and dreaming of himself being there someday, much as Marge does in this episode. So let's get back real quick to this subject of high-low collaborations. I feel like the most kind of popular one in recent years was Supreme x Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton was the high, Supreme was the low, and while that was really interesting and really groundbreaking for its time, it also was a little bit kind of elitist and overly exclusive, because you're taking something that somebody else is saying, hey, I've got this thing that you really like, and it's just like that, but now you can't afford it. So yeah, you want stuff with a Supreme logo all over it, but now instead of 50 bucks, it's 800 bucks, right? You're getting priced out of the thing you love, and that's kind of elitist. There's no other way to say it. And if they're not elitist by pricing out the everyday person, they are lacking the kind of materials or quality of construction that you would expect from the high end of that collaboration. For instance, like Tom Brown has done collaborations with Target, and you may have the design there. It may look like a Tom Brown piece, but it's not going to have the same quality of materials, and it's definitely not going to be made in like the same factories with the same construction methods, because you'd never be able to reach that like Target level price point. You'd just be selling it at Tom Brown price points. So there's always been this kind of hurdle that's really hard to overcome when it comes to these high-low team-ups. Now, Balenciaga did make actual clothes for this. There's like a Simpsons t-shirt, stuff like that, and those are kind of unimportant here. I'm talking more about the idea of including the Simpsons in this collection, especially with the episode. The clothes themselves, the actual ones that you can buy, they're definitely going to price out most Simpsons fans, and for me, as a kind of lover of fashion, I find them kind of cute, and they have some fun references, like Homer is in the spiked Kanye Donda jacket, the like bear hunting jacket, but the pieces themselves are overall pretty forgettable. Now, with all of that out of the way, so we're setting it up. I really, really like this, and we'll talk more about why that is, but now I just want to set up the episode itself. The episode of The Simpsons that they made in collaboration with Balenciaga. Talk to you a bit about that. So, this was really Demna. He wanted this. He reached out to Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, and was like, please, please do this with me. This would be so good. And surprisingly enough, they accepted. So the Simpsons team, this isn't just like Balenciaga licensing The Simpsons. The team that makes The Simpsons TV show actually teamed up with Balenciaga here to write the script, and they got the voice actors and everything, so it really does feel like an episode of The Simpsons, which is just kind of insane. In the episode in question, I found it to be legitimately funny. Like, I haven't watched The Simpsons in a long time, but even when I was still watching it, I don't think it was this funny. Like, there's a great gag of Homer trying to figure out how to even pronounce Balenciaga. There's even Marge gets this dress and he's trying to keep it clean because it's so expensive, and he's like pulling out umbrellas and shielding like all sorts of debris and oncoming stuff from dirtying up the dress. And as a person who likes expensive clothes, I found that very relatable. I have definitely spent a lot of time trying to protect my clothes from the elements and from any sorts of damage that are coming in. And this episode also had, in my opinion, some real pathos. Like, it made you believe in this dream. It was a bit of a reminder of why fashion matters, at least to some people, and I was not expecting to get that out of a Simpsons Balenciaga short film. Like, I was not ready for that at all. Now, real quick, I'll just describe the plot of this episode. So, Marge's birthday is coming up. Homer, of course, has not planned anything, so he needs a quick idea. He kind of finds a little magazine ad of Balenciaga where Marge has written, I think it's someday, on the ad, and he's like, ooh, okay. He writes to Balenciaga, please help me. It's my wife's birthday. I haven't done anything for her. They send him a Balenciaga dress and a bill for that dress. So she's wearing the dress, she loves it, but they have to return it. And Marge writes back a little letter thanking them so much for what they gave her by letting her wear this dress, even if it was just for a little bit. Dimna, the creative director of Visalia, sees that letter from Marge, and he's so moved by it that he flies to Springfield, where the Simpsons live, and invites the entire town of Springfield to Paris to participate in the Balenciaga fashion show. And then all the characters do a fashion show, and it's really wild. And I really love this, and I want to look at the episode itself and some of the stills from it and the looks, because there's some really cool references here. It's really a awesome retrospective of Demna's time at Balenciaga. All these looks, they span pretty much every collection he's done, or from different eras of Demna at Balenciaga, and I think that is so awesome. And I want to show you guys these looks from the Simpsons episode and the corresponding looks in real life. So let's check those out. But first, I've looked into it, and a very small percentage of you are actually subscribed to the channel. It's completely free. Just press that button and you will not regret it. Thank you so much. Alright, first up is Chief Wiggum. And this was actually a hard one. I think this was the hardest one for me. I definitely had a bit of trouble finding this. I went through the archives, I went through my memory. I did not see anything that had a baguette holder attached to it on a double-breasted jacket. So the best I could come up with was find some other double-breasted jackets, maybe with some larger sleeves or something like that, because I couldn't quite tell what was going on here. My actual first choice that I came across was spring 2022, so the collection that this aired with, look 31, with a sort of double-breasted jacket with these kind of slouching shoulders. But first off, it just doesn't really work that well, and also I don't think the Simpsons team had access to the other looks that were being made for this collection. I think they were referencing older pieces, so that one didn't really make sense to me. My next option, and I think a very good one, is actually from the Couture collection, look 10. Now this one had a double-breasted jacket with this kind of blanket stole going over the arms, and it's kind of a train in the back. Again, it doesn't really work here, and in that piece, he's wearing jeans as bottoms, so I don't know, maybe, maybe not. I think the best option that I found, though, was the pre-fall 2021 look 57. And this one, it has a bit more of the disheveled look to it. You can see on Chief Wiggum here, around the lapel, it looks a bit shaky almost. And then again, he's got this kind of cape that doesn't turn into a train, and he's also wearing black slacks. So I think that pre-fall 21 look is our best guesstimation here. But even that one did not have the baguette holder. It just didn't. That was a nice little addition here, specifically for our favorite Chief Wiggum. Now Bart, what was Bart wearing? This one was much easier than Chief Wiggum. There was like a 1-to-1 look here. This was fall 2020 look 26. So it's like a t-shirt that has a arrow pointing upwards, and that's kind of fun. It reminds me a bit of the like I'm with Stupid t-shirts pointing this way, but instead it's pointing upwards. So that's kind of fun. The pants, I don't know, they don't feel super Bart Simpson to me. It's like these, I think it's a two-tone, it's like short denim, and then these like black leather. I don't know if it's coming from the boots or if they're attached to the pants. I don't know, that just didn't really feel too Bart to me, but definitely jeans and a t-shirt very much do. And if the Simpsons team were going through the Balenciaga archives to find stuff, I can totally see why they landed on this one. Mo is actually wearing the opening piece from Demna's very first menswear collection for spring 2017. This piece is iconic, and also, funny side note, a few of the pieces that the Simpsons used here are actually like the cover images on Vogue for these collections, so I'm wondering if that's what they used to research these to put them in here, and they were just going with like the kind of cover image for each collection. That would be kind of funny. But anyway, it's a super interesting look, and it's one that Demna has gone to over and over. So it's a super boxy kind of khaki overcoat with these insanely squared shoulders, and that just falls down to, you can't even tell if he's wearing underwear, shorts, nothing under there, and then these like high brown boots. It's a really cool look, and I think it's like perfect for Mo here. So I'm so glad that they went to this one, and I'm really glad that they really dove back into Demna's time at Balenciaga and found an older menswear piece to use here. And this is not the last example of a more archival piece that they're going with on this runway show, which I love to see. Next up are Patty and Selma Bouvier. It has been long enough since I've seen The Simpsons, I cannot tell you which is which. I'm going to say that is Patty on the left and Selma on the right. I may be wrong, but that's what I'm going with here. So, Patty, that is from Demna's first women's wear collection, which was fall 2016. And this one is look 14 from that show. And this is a swing jacket. That's what I call it. It's kind of like flares out at the neck and gets really open there. And this is in a red puffer coat with a kind of, you know, nice little mock neck, turtleneck underneath. I don't know. It's kind of cool for Patty here. It's a bit more like tossed off. It looks much more casual, like ill-fitting in a way. And I think that's perfect for this vibe of like, I don't give a fuck that she always has about her. Now let's talk about Selma here. Selma is wearing an hourglass coat. And this is another thing that Demna does all of the time. And I really could have picked any number of pieces here. I'm not sure which specific look they're referencing, but one of the best ones I came up with was from fall 2018, look 37. It's also in black. It also has the 3 buttons on each side. It's about the right length, and of course it has that hourglass shape and the turtleneck underneath. So I think this is our best bet here, but again, there are tons of examples you could go to for this one. All right, I love this one. We've got Julio on the left. I don't even remember who Julio is. I don't even know if he was an introduced character when I was still watching The Simpsons. And then we've got Skinner's mother on the right. So Julio is wearing a piece from one of my absolute favorite Demna Balenciaga collections, and that one is the Fall 2018 collection, actually one that they went to for quite a few of the looks here. So apparently the Simpsons team also is a big fan of that collection. So he's wearing this crazy faux fur multi-layered coat. This was one of the kind of staples of this collection. There were many different iterations of it. I'm pretty sure by this point Balenciaga had already gotten rid of regular, like real fur, so I'm assuming this is faux fur, and then inside it's got multiple different layers of coat, so it looks like he's wearing like coat on top of coat on top of coat. And even more interesting, this was a women's look. So you can see underneath there's kind of like a polka dot dress with this necklace and stuff, so I love that they went with this here. I actually have one of these sweaters from this collection, like layered sweaters. It's also a women's piece, and it works great on me. So I love that the Simpsons team also recognized that. Skinner's mother, I actually had a little bit of a harder time thinking of and finding that one-to-one match. I'm pretty sure, not positive, what they're going for here is Spring 2020 look 43, because that one is also like a green dotted piece with the really strong shoulders and the pleating. But I think that's more of a coat and it's not a one piece, so I may have missed something here. So let me know if you've got a better option, but it even has like the neckerchief kind of thing going on here. So I don't know, I think it's a pretty good shout, but it's not perfect. So let me know what I missed here. All right, Lisa and the baby. What do we got here? So they are actually wearing Spring 2020 look 90. I think. This is another one. It's kind of tough because this one didn't work out perfectly, and that's why I question it, because actually later there are looks where they're wearing this same kind of silhouette in different colors where the look is much, much closer. So in that one's a red velvet. It's also got the long sleeves, and it's got this big kind of fit like wire framed bulging dress at the bottom. But in The Simpsons it kind of bunches in, whereas that look from the Spring 2020 show did not come in like that. The dress came out like that, the frame, but it didn't tuck in like it does here. So I'm not sure. I'm a little bit, I think I'm close, but I'm not sure if I'm quite there. Smithers, this is a fun one. So I think maybe he is wearing a look inspired by Spring 2019 look 75, but that look didn't have tights on under it, and the neck is a bit higher than this one. It has a bit, the color is right, it has that wrappiness that is quite similar, but like the bodice isn't the same. There aren't like gloved hands here, so yeah, we're close, but again, we're a little bit off. The twins, I absolutely love this one. So this was actually the closing look from Spring 2020, so look 91. And this is what I was talking about with Elisa, because the one I found for Elisa was just a different color of this dress, but you can see how much closer these two are to each other. It really captures that shape much, much, much better. So yeah, I think I nailed it here, but Lisa, we might have been a bit off. Oh, Homer, yes, I love this. So this is 100% look 24 from the Spring 2020 collection. And it's this super, super high-necked, kind of puffy, I don't know what kind of jacket you even call it. It's just like a kind of like members-only dad jacket kind of thing, but the proportions are just blown to hell. And I love that because Homer is like, he's America's dad, right? So he's wearing this jacket, this classic dad jacket, but all the proportions are just blown out. So it's Homer in Paris. You know, this is it. They figured it out. I think they found an incredible, incredible piece for Homer here. And then Comic Book Guy comes out. And Comic Book Guy, he is wearing look 36 from Spring 2021, which is the destroyed hoodie. And I mean, I guess this makes sense. Comic Book Guy, he's not taking real good care of himself. All his crap is getting torn to shit. I don't know. I don't think it fully fits with the character, but I'm not sure what they could have picked for Comic Book Guy that would have been better. Maybe I could have seen him in one of the more kind of like corporate type pieces from the brand, maybe like a double, one of the double shirts, like the striped button downs where it's 2 shirts on top of each other, like he couldn't even bother to get dressed right or something. I think that could have been fun, but I do like this. It works. He's only on screen for a tiny gag, so it's whatever. And finally, the finale, Marge Simpson. So she is wearing look 88 from spring 2020, and they captured this perfectly. They really, like, you can see this color is completely different from any of the other pieces they've shown so far, and they were really trying to capture that like magical sparkle that the piece had in real life. I think they really, really wanted Marge to have this wow factor when she came out, even though it's a cartoon, and I think they did like a really good job of capturing that, and I was just super impressed by this one. It's a beautiful piece. I think it's a great pick for Marge, and a great pick to close off this fake runway show. So, yeah, those are the references. What a wild time, what a weird timeline we are living in that this happened. Alright, I think that's everything I have to say right now about the Simpsons portion of the show. But that wasn't all there was to the show, because there was actually a new real-life collection presented as part of this. And it was not a runway show, it was actually a red carpet show. So they did it, I believe, in a theater where they ended up showing the episode of The Simpsons that they did. But before that, they had all these models and celebrities and stuff walking the red carpet in the new Balenciaga collection. And I just want to give a little bit of my thoughts on that as well, specifically the menswear pieces there. So this look right here is a big one that Demna did over and over in this new collection. And I think it's really him showing that he's trying to take his oversized, kind of exaggerated shoulders effect in a slightly different direction, because he's really known for the pointed, squared shoulders, or even kind of pagoda shoulders going upwards. But here, they come out much farther than the actual shoulder, and then slouch downwards. So it's much more of like your almost typical oversized look, like the kind of thing that you'd expect it to do if you're wearing an oversized jacket. Like it's almost like if you took the padding out of one of those structured ones and just let it fall and droop. But I do think it's quite effective here. I think we've got to talk a little bit about this footwear here. The rest of the piece is fairly standard. It's a nice coat, some shorts, but I think it's nothing too crazy. It's really about the footwear. So this looks like a pair of mules with a crazy, long, curved toe. And that is something. Demna's always going crazy with the footwear, and I love a good mule. I appreciate this. It's a little much. I don't know if I feel like I could get away with it, but I'm really liking some of the other footwear choices he's making this season, and we'll talk about that very soon. So here we've got a nice robe, kind of like a tuxedo robe. I like the effect that's happening here. It's very like unexpected, and I feel like I haven't really seen that before. But again, I want to focus on the footwear, because they have created this insane, like, I don't even know what it's made out of. It may be like an EVA foam, or it could be something else entirely, but it's really like if you took the Tyrex and stripped it of every detail. So it still has that rounded ball heel and that square, like, racing toe, but it's encased in this really just like sleek, featureless kind of chassis. I don't even know how to describe it, but they are really, really insane. Here you can actually get a better look at that in a kind of like patent material. And here we have a crazy oversized, like, crinkled coat. That's something that Demna has been doing a lot of in recent seasons. He's really liking the pre-crinkled, pre-wrinkled pieces to give it this lived-in look, which I think is really cool and is a more unique take than just distressing and ripping something to hell. I appreciate both, but I do think that this is a bit more unique and original to pre-crease, pre-wrinkle something. This is actually like a super well-fitted suit for Demna. Both the fit of the blazer, the fit of those pants, there's really like no oversizing going on here. If anything, even undersizing on the arms and more of a cropped trouser, which is a super new direction for him, and I'm interested to see where that goes. But once again, this is our best look yet at these shoes. They're just like pure polygon video game robot shoes. Like, I don't even know how else to describe it, but I can't wait to see these in real life and hopefully try them on. Now, speaking of the hourglass coats, here's a great example, very similar to the one that Selma was wearing in the Simpsons episode, but this one for a man. and in a really, really nice velvet here. I would die for this coat. Whew. Holy hell. I know we've already talked about this overall silhouette, but it looks terrifying here. Like, it just looks foreboding in a way. Like, this is Demna at his best. I think this is really my takeaway from this collection, is this silhouette and this look in particular. Again, look at that pre-crinkled dress look. Very interesting. We've got a bit of leather here in a more kind of, again, kind of like dad jacket, members only jacket, track jacket kind of style. This is not the first time that we're seeing the kind of fishnet top here, which is another fairly new element for Demna, something he hasn't really done in the past. This jacket is fairly similar to one that he did a season or two ago, but I appreciate it here, and it's being shown in a new light. So this is actually one of the most casual looks of the collection, but I really, really like it. So this t-shirt, if you're gonna make a simple logo t-shirt happen, at least do something interesting with it. So it's like a two-tone, three-quarter sleeve. If this undershirt is actually part of it, so that it comes down with a long sleeve here and super long kind of like dress style here, that would be even better. I'm guessing they're separate, but even as a standalone, this is much, much more interesting than your average branded t-shirt, so I'm down with that. This is super, super smart. Again, we've got, I'm assuming, a leather or potentially faux leather jacket with this shearling, like bombardier collar. I don't even know how you say that, but this was one that actually Demna hasn't done too much of. It was actually done a lot more before he started at Balenciaga, but that even now, like, it resells like crazy. They're like super, super grail items. So if he can start to bring this kind of shearling neckline leather piece back, I think that would be very, very intelligent. So here, I'm always interested to see what Demna does with denim. I think as far as like high luxury brands go, he is one of the best at denim work, both jeans and jackets and even other pieces. But this is a fairly standard kind of like flared leg piece for him. Super, super distressed, raw hem, but it does look really, really good. And these shoes, I'm obsessed with these. They look more like the new kind of runner silhouette that he's been doing, but they have like a tractor tire sole with these crazy treads that really goes around the midsole as well. And I think it's a super, super cool look and quite original. It's hard to do anything original in like luxury sneakers anymore because everyone just went bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to now where it feels like there's nowhere else to go. But this is really a clean, original take on a new sneaker. My man Elliot Page here in a very nice looking piece. Platform Crocs. Need I say more? Wild. I know this is a women's piece, but I'm obsessed with it. I love the little points at the shoulders, the fact that the sleeves are, again, not oversized, overlong. They're actually shortened, and they look like they were chopped off along with this hem here. And I don't know if this was styled with a hoodie or if this coat is actually hooded, but the entire look put together is like, chef's kiss. I fucking love it. This piece, while I like it, it actually doesn't feel that Balenciaga to me. It's a little bit like gallery department, kind of like paint splatter. It's not something I really think of Balenciaga for. If they bring that out more, I think trench coat itself is very Balenciaga. The off the shoulder, it's kind of reminiscent of some of the swing stuff that we were talking about earlier. So I can see some of those elements here, but both the color and the treatment are not very Demna to me. So I'm interested to see if stuff like this keeps getting peppered in more and we start to see a shift in some of those aesthetics. Again, I said Demna is incredible at denim. This piece, this kind of like half and half chop piece, like trompe-l'oeil kind of effect, is very interesting, and I think that's super cool. Balenciaga has a bunch of denim jackets, like they do them sometimes multiple every single season, and this is a fantastic take on it right here. Again, yes, Demna, bring that shearling collar back. This is a beautiful bomber jacket. This is like grail status. This is something that you could see Kanye West wearing all the time, and I can tell you tons and tons of people are going to be wanting a jacket just like this, especially if they make it in black. I'm assuming they will because they know how to merchandise, but like, yes. We've got some fringe going on here, a little bit of Orville Peck going on here. Definitely very oversized, but you've also got like a lot of interesting zippers and eyelets and stuff, which again, you don't see all that often from Balenciaga, especially on their leather pieces, which can sometimes be a little bit more low-key in my experience. So I like that they're going off here. Lewis Hamilton in a fairly standard look, but it seems like every season lately Demna has been making a pair of black cargo pants, and they just seem to be getting wider and wider, and I'm here for it. Here's our best look at these shoes yet in profile. They just look like knives, essentially, and I think they're sick. That's also a beautiful jacket, and I like the styling here. I think every bit of this with the plaid shirt coming out from underneath, every element here is working really well. In the last piece, Demna himself really doing his best like Kim Kardashian at the Met impression, but in a menswear look here. I'd really be interested to know what this material is, because it does not look like a typical like cotton piece. I'm guessing it's a bit more stretch. It's a bit more like polyester, nylon, something there. So that's interesting to me. But overall, it's fairly standard. I just think it was a good capper in the context of all of the like Kim, Kanye looks that have been going on in collaboration with Balenciaga. So I understood it here. So what did we learn here? I mean, I am a Balenciaga stan, so I'm generally very, very much a fan of everything we saw here. I don't think it was a huge leap forward for Demna and what he's been doing at Balenciaga. I think we actually were getting kind of a bit of a victory lap from him here and a retrospective on some of the things that he's been doing so well for so long, with just a couple hints of some new tweaks that he might be doing as we move into future collections. So I think that is enough talk about Balenciaga for one day. If you like this video, take a look at the other one on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.